Can you guys even see Anton? I can't even see Anton right now.
I think we're live.
All right. Hi. Hey candidates. So in this webinar, we will give you some tips on what to prepare for at state conference, what you should do right now, and things to do afterwards. So I'll start. I have three main tips for you guys, and they're general but also very specific. So the first one would be when you're at state conference and when you're talking to different people, when you are interviewing, when you're giving a speech, don't be afraid to be yourself. I know like many of you like to try maybe to appease and act different ways or maybe try to act in a way that you feel that most people enjoy, but truly it's most important to just express the way you are. If you're quirky, be quirky. If you're funny, be funny. But yeah, truly just express what you do at school, what you do at home, everything. It all applies to the conference. The second tip would be to this whole thing is a unique opportunity. You guys won't get many different opportunities like this in your lifetime, so really enjoy it. Have fun running for a position. Have fun with your events if you have any. Have fun talking to people. Giving your ideas and yeah, just really enjoy the conference. And then last but not least, practice definitely. It's tough to give a speech or to answer questions when you haven't succinctly prepared for them. I would recommend you to practice your speech, from now till the conference, at least a few hours, maybe more. But it's good to really know what you're saying, or else you might forget some things on stage, and when you get on stage, it's a whole nother kind of environment than what you're used to practicing a speech at home. So really get that down, and then also make sure to know your information about HOSA, and make sure you learn just like the history of it, some current events, what's happening, what are the different kind of service projects we're doing. That'll prepare you for questions others may ask you, and just to make you really more thoughtful of HOSA. So yeah, those are my three ideas, three tips for you guys.
Does anybody have anything to add to Anton's? One thing that Anton brought up that was really good was like being yourself, and something that I think is important is just being personal. Again, like you don't want to be like, you want to be professional, but you don't want to act like you're like campaigning for yourself, because then that's not like that doesn't show like who you are. And so if you're in like conversation, just like Anton said, be who you are. Danny, do you want to give your pieces of advice?
Sure. So I have three pieces of advice. So first one is be friendly. Get to know the other candidates. You'll be working with them for the rest of the year, so it's really important that you get to know them. And the second one kind of relates to what Anton said, but have confidence, be brave, and be proud of yourself. It's real, even if you feel like extremely scared, as I did last year, just feel confident, act confident, be confident, feel confident, and you'll seem confident. So, and my last piece of advice is enjoy everything state has to offer. Do not coop up in your room all by yourself. Go out there, go to the breakout sessions, yoga sessions, and nightly activities. Enjoy state, because that's probably one of the last times you'll do it as a member before you get busy with officer duties.
Mm-hmm. And if you show that you're like getting involved, that's like a good image for you as a state candidate. Nitin, how about you?
So yeah, my three pieces of advice, you guys, is mostly just to, first of all, kind of a vision, like now itself, of what you're gonna do if you become,
or once
you guys become state managers. So like, kind of just have like what you want to do. Like, for example, if you really have a goal of really increasing social media
Can you guys hear me?
interactions in social media, can you guys even hear me? Sorry.
I can.
Just restart.
Because I can't see. I literally,
You guys for a little bit.
I can hear myself echoing. That's why.
No, I can hear Mitten.
Oh, sorry.
You're good.
It just sounds weird because like every time I say something, it just comes back to me. So
Yeah, you're not speaking, put yourself on mute.
am I on mute still?
No, not anymore.
Okay, so back to my piece of advice. So yeah, just kind of have a vision for what you would do once you become elected. That's always a great thing to kind of know. Number two, understand the role of your position once you become elected. So after you become elected as a state officer, you'll be assigned a certain position. For example, I'm the public relations officer. And just kind of understand what your job kind of entails. Like my job really is just mostly being interactive on social media, that type of stuff. And so I know that. And that's a great thing to know because that means you can really, you know, kind of fulfill your duty to the fullest. My last piece of advice is kind of take quality over qualifications. So what that means in your scenario kind of is just, I mean, a lot of the other state officers, all these state officers have plenty of great qualifications, but I think really what's going to show to the voting delegates and ultimately make you the most successful state officer you can be is really your passion and your commitment to all your goals and all your ideas. So, I mean, it's great that you guys have a bunch of qualifications and a bunch of things on your resume, but it's very important to also have that passion and commitment for your duty and your position, essentially. So yeah, that's my three main tips for you guys.
Thanks, then. Hey, Shivani, I know you kind of touched on this during our breakout session at FLC, which correlates along with like the roles on the executive council team about like how they're all at the same level. Do you want to talk about that again?
Sure. So even though we have titles with all of our positions, we all kind of contribute at an equal level. The only thing that our titles mean is for the business meetings that we do at and even though, like, for example, sometimes the vice president and president, I'm the secretary, I can still contribute to the team just as much as they do. They don't hold a higher position than me, and it goes for the same for everybody on the council.
Nice. Thanks, Shivani. Do you also want to go into your three pieces of advice? That was really good.
Sure, yeah. So my first advice is that don't get too caught up in the moment. If you mess up on something or if your interview doesn't go the way you want it to go, just enjoy the moment because you have made it this far. Like you have taken that initiative to be a state officer, and this is probably the first time speaking in front of over 2,000 people. So just kind of let that sink in because that in of itself is a huge accomplishment. My second advice is to be knowledgeable, and I know some of the other officers mentioned that, but even though you aren't going to be a state officer, like in that moment, people are going to come up and talk to you, and you should be knowledgeable on some of the things because you are representing Wisconsin HOSA. And my last advice is to make sure you're smiling because last year, you know that I was very scared and nervous, but what helped me throughout the conference and calming my nervousness was smiling because like when you smile, you feel happy and you project yourself that way.
Hey, a smile fits. Does anybody have anything else to add to Shivani's? That was really good. Okay. Nice. Thanks, Shivani. Sid, how about you?
So mine are very similar to the other officers, but don't take things too seriously. So when you get to know me, I'm a pretty goofy person, but like,
really,
I wish I acted like that more often, I guess you could say. But I remember how nervous I was when I first even like met all the other officers. but I think one of the most important parts is like honestly being yourself all the time and not like kind of like almost like putting on a show for others. So because it's really personable and you're gonna get to know these people so much and enjoy their company. Number 2, don't try to cram. I know we're all high school students and we like to push things off to the last minute. Well, at least I do.
Me, the definition.
Not trying for this. Don't put everything to the last minute. It puts so much more stress on yourself, and like we can all preach it, but it's whether you follow that or not. It's one of the biggest things in stress management. And number 3, this is going to be a big change, but just please remember to be yourself and don't put reins on your opinion just because no one concurs. So always talk, always say what you think, always make sure you speak like freely, and don't just because like you have this title and someone else may have like the presidential title, don't let that make you think that your opinion is less relevant.
Yeah, and going along with that too, like it's a terrible mindset if you think that running for state candidate, like running for a state officer position is a competition. Because if you think like that, then you won't be able to engage in like personable relationships with like the candidates, and those candidates could be like the officers that you might be working with if you were elected. And so just make sure that you keep in mind that you guys are in this together.
Kind of going off of that, as like you're running for state office, it's really important to remember that you're doing this because you want to lead and help other people become leaders. That's the whole mindset behind becoming a state officer. So just to reinforce the idea of it not becoming a competition, like just keep that in the back of your mind, because a good leader isn't someone that has followers. A good leader is somebody who leads servantly.
Hey, I like that a lot. Yeah, because if you think about it, like you're serving an entire state. And so if you're just running for state yourself, then it doesn't make sense, because like the organization that you're leading has almost like 3,000 members. And so you're not the only member within that organization. My 3 pieces of advice that were kind of already touched on, but I'll spin it in a different direction. 1 is know your speech, and not only knowing your speech, but knowing your pace, your pronunciation, and your timing. And so with your speech, you want to have it above 1 minute, but below 2 minutes. And so if you find yourself like racing through your speech, just like take parts out of it. I know that's harder said than done, but if you have like a really important quote that you want to say, like say that. But make sure you also touch on your 3 goals and why you're running for state too. And so just practice your speech in front of people as well, and make sure that you come to state prepared with your speech. So that's one of my pieces of advice. Another one, Shivani touched on this one, but being knowledgeable about HOSA. Like I know you guys took like the tests already, but like that knowledge extends far beyond like a piece of paper. And so members and like advisors could be like asking you questions about like HOSA and stuff like that. And so it's good to be like an informative candidate while you're going out for a state officer position. And even after state, if you do or don't become like a state officer, which you shouldn't feel down on yourself because you came this far and you took that like chance to go out for it, but you're still part of the organization if you choose to be in HOSA, which I hope you guys do, but you still want to be knowledgeable about the organization that you're part of. And my last piece of advice is get sleep. Get sleep now and get sleep at SLC, because it really shows through if you are coming up on stage and you have like bags underneath your eyes and you can't talk right. I guess I shouldn't be the one necessarily to say this because I know I won't be getting much sleep at SLC just because there's a lot to do. But in your case, definitely get sleep and eat well and hydrate. All right. Does anybody have anything else to add?
We wish you the best of luck, and we're so excited to see what you do next year.
Mm-hmm. All right. Bye.
Bye.
See you.
Yeah.
And stop.